WindyCityThetanWatch, the channel where truth meets freedom, right here in the heart of Chicago. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest investigations, interviews, and insights. Your support fuels our fight for freedom and truth. So, let's dive into today's journey, armed with knowledge and the relentless spirit of the Windy City.
Howdy, folks. Windy City Thetan Watch. Bit of an impromptu live. I'm in the studio. I just saw a video with an update on Danny Masterson, and the title of the video is Danny Masterson is making friends in prison, and it shows he's actually seems to be having a fairly good time. Now, I don't know much about this creator. He's got 800,000 subscribers. Lockdown 23&1 is the subscriber, or is the channel. And I just kind of wanted to do a quick reaction to this because I thought it was rather amazing how well he is doing in prison. Or let's see, amazing. Not that I'm happy and proud of, but the idea that Danny Masterson seems to have solved the prison system at this point in time. So for those of you that might not know, Danny Masterson is currently in prison on, we're going to say 30 years to life, but in reality, he's in prison for life with an opportunity for parole after 30 years. He was convicted of assaulting two victims of Scientology that were, the assaults occurred back in 2003, I believe, or 20 plus years ago at this point in time. It was a hard-fought trial. The first trial ended in a mistrial. The second trial, there were three women who were accusing him, and two of the women were successful in their ability to get him convicted of this crime. So he then went to prison. There was much talk about how challenging it would be for him because people who are predatory offenders of a SA nature tend to have a very difficult time in prison. There was a claim that there was a fight that he was involved with a month or so ago. Boy, I can't even remember. It's been so long since that story broke. And then he was moved to the California Men's Colony, which feels like a she prison. Now, one thing I'll say is that when your freedom is taken away from you, it's still prison, and I would imagine it's a very big challenge and definitely a big change to his lifestyle. But I just came across this video on the way home and thought I would go ahead and share it with you. So without much further ado, this is, let me go ahead and challenge that. It is Lockdown 23&1, and Danny Masterson is making friends in prison. We're going to learn that he's got some, like an iPad. I know it's not an iPad, but something like an iPad. We'll hear a little bit about how his food is going, and we'll also then hear about his exercise routine. And the claim is that he's rather successful or adept at playing pickleball. So let's get on and hear the video here.
Anyways, let's move on to the next hot topic. Mr. Danny Masterson. I did a video in the past about where he's at, a place called the California Men's Prison. And for anybody that doesn't know, he was convicted of a sex crime, and that doesn't work well in prison, especially with his celebrity status. So when he first started getting into the system, he was dropped off at some well-known violent prisons. So a lot of people thought that, someone was probably going to get at him. But like I said, he's in California Men's Prison now, which happens to be, I'm not going to go into detail, but
so again, he's recounting the same story that we've heard, that Danny Masterson was convicted of a rather serious crime. He was then put in prison. The thought was that he would have a great deal of challenge in prison because that is not a crime that most prisoners are willing to tolerate, and you can get yourself in a bit of trouble with that. And so he somehow avoided that. There must have been some mechanism that he co-opted the prison system, that he got moved to this California Men's Penal Colony, because it's usually a place you don't get to until you're near the end of your sentence. So let's listen to this a little bit more.
Much comfier place. And the article I'm reading today is going to break down exactly what Mr. Masterson's doing in that prison. So let's just get right into it. The article of this story is A Day in the Prison Life of Danny Masterson. Pickleball, movie nights, and $300 a month on candy. Danny Masterson's life in prison sounds more like a relaxing weekend than a punishment. Sources exclusively tell In Touch that the convicted rapist participates in sports, enjoys video games, and a collective of TV shows and movies downloaded on his prison tablet. I'm not going to lie either, these inmates got it good these days. Almost every establishment has these tablets. When I was leaving prison, they were just bringing them in. The first one I ever seen right before I went home, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe they're allowing inmates to have that, man. They're very lucky. All we had were like soda cans and shanks. I'm just playing. We had other things than that. But Danny Masterson's tablet is loaded. I can only imagine inmates probably rent his tablet out. Unlimited stuff to do. At about 11:30 or so, he heads out to the pickleball court, which has a basketball rim where he stretches and works out. And then he plays pickleball for about 2 hours, and he plays pretty decent, an insider reveals. He's getting better, and his playing has improved in the past few months. He's on the court quite a bit.
Thank you, from a poet. I wonder, is this a place where we've got Dick Button announcing a tennis match in court that we're able to hear this? So that I think is strange. I also don't like that he's actually having what I would say is an enjoyable time in prison here. Now, again, his freedom's taken away, but he's done something rather serious, and he just seems to be able to get away with this right now. So, well, carry on a little bit.
The one thing I can say is that his jump shot is surprisingly good. But man, when they said Mr. Masterson has a hell of a jump shot, right? The thumbnail of this video is like the best image I could come up with that was going through my mind. But it's not over yet. Mr. Masterson, 48, has also apparently made nice with the prison security guards. If you were to ask me, in this prison, I think a lot of inmates become friends with the guards. And it's usually like that in lower level prisons, man. Those inmates don't even feel like inmates. They kind of feel like they work for the state, just like the CL. But it goes on to say that Masterson works for prison guards as an errand boy. Why they gotta put him out there like that, man? He's an old key boy. One of his duties is handing out ducats or permission slips to fellow inmates who have medical appointments, counseling sessions, and other appointments within the prison. So he's...
Yeah. Debbie, and by the way, thanks, Colton, and from a poet, for reminding me about the sound, or let me know about the sound. I think he's wealthy enough himself. I don't know if it's that his family has enough cachet that they can kind of help or get Scientology to move in this space. I don't think that Scientology is spending its money to be here, but it might be spending influence to help in this situation. Again, I'm a never in, so I don't want to tell you what Scientology does or doesn't do. They don't tend to be an organization that likes to spend its money on any of its members. It seems that money flows the other direction. However, it's possible that they're using some form of influence with either the prison officials or government officials to help ease the lifestyle that Danny Masterson is going through in prison.
He's a hall monitor. And one thing I can't stand in life ever since elementary is a hall monitor. But the day continues at 3 p.m. every day. Masterson's required to be in his cell for head count, but he's allowed to use a prison-issued tablet. With this device, he can play video games, choose from a selection of TV shows and movies to watch. However, the source clarifies that the prisoners don't have access to traditional internet. But after head count, Masterson heads to dinner, but the food served is less than desirable. He might have a casserole kind of thing that's so horrible most guys won't even eat it. He will get grilled chicken and a salad, but it's mostly like wilted lettuce. For breakfast, they serve eggs, but it's powdered eggs and soy-based bacon. This is likely why Masterson opts for some of his snacks offered by the canteen, which he can spend up to $300 a month on. Honey buns is
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, right? The idea that there's a cap on how much they can spend. $300 is nothing to him, but my expectation is they talked about he's got these friends that are around him in the cells nearest to him. I'm guessing that they're getting their cafeteria monies funded as well. Yeah, it is sad that, right, that and yeah, Tommy Scoville's a much better person. I'm sure that he's going to do a video on this as well. That it just is a shame, and it's kind of a thumb in the eye of the Jane Does that this is how lavish his lifestyle in prison is. Yeah, I'm sure that his canteen money is going towards that, but even more so, I'll bet that, like I said, that his family or Scientology or somebody is probably funding other people's canteen privileges as well. And I'm sure there's ways that they're paying off these guards externally to the prison as well. Again, those are my opinions. It's not that hard to come to that kind of a conclusion.
the big thing in prison. For protein, they sell bagged chicken and tuna. Now, despite Mr. Masterson going from Hollywood to a life behind bars, the sources reveal that Masterson seems to be adjusting well. He doesn't seem to be too shy, and he limits where he goes, limits who's around him. At first, there were a couple people around him that wanted to victimize him, but some of the other prisoners interfered with that, the insider explains. So he got a clique of friends, if you want to call them that he hangs around with every day. It's mostly the guys in the neighboring cells. It's a mature crowd mostly, so they're not doing dumb stuff. These are older guys that are out of the gang serving 25 to life, that are rehabilitated, hoping to get a parole hearing date to get out. They're mostly all well behaved, the insider says. But that is the update on Mr. Masterson. He's very lucky to be in the prison that he's in. From everything that I read.
Yeah, Patrick, I think this is more likely the case in this situation. As I was saying earlier, it's not the modus operandi of the church to spend its war chest to help any of its members. It's the most likely element where the church is helping him in any way, shape, or form would be exerting influence on, like I said, the government officials, the prison officials, the guards in these situations. But it is going to be the wealth of he and his family that are more than likely, if there's bribing the guards, and if there's funding of other people's canteen privileges, that's probably what's going on. So let me hide that for a minute. So again, this normally isn't my style. I'm out there protesting. Hopefully, some of you saw that I was out there today. It was a pretty successful day, I think. We got the blinds taken down. We were able to stop the body routers. We saw a few members come in. We were able to challenge them with what do they think is good about the church. We also saw a public who, I believe it was Natalie who said that when you go on course, you need to have all your course materials ready when you go in. And if you don't, that's kind of a faux pas, and you can get yourself in trouble. So we did catch somebody in that they had to come out of the church. They had to go to their car, and they had to get their course materials and then go back into the church. So that was awesome. Yeah. You're right, Debbie. I think that, again, he himself is wealthy. His mother is probably pretty wealthy because as a talent agent, she's probably lining her pockets pretty well. My understanding was she was very successful at that. I don't know who the other, there's other actors in the family. His brothers are both actors. So that's where the family's going to have money. So just very interesting, right? We saw the story on Bijou yesterday or 2 days ago, and now we're seeing some information on Danny Masterson. So if you're watching us on the replay, let us know in the comments if you think it's okay that that Danny Masterson is having such a lush lifestyle. And if you're in the chat, any questions or any comments that we should think about with this current news for Danny Masterson? All right. I think that I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I don't think, again, we probably don't have any mods in because I've used up all my notifications for the day, so they were probably unaware of it. And again, this was very impromptu that we did this. So just a reminder that Nance Drew is still looking for help. Let me kind of put this in real quick. So if any of you are able to go and help out Nance Drew at Nance Drew, she on her community page, she lists a number of ways that you can help donate money to her. If you can go out there and help, she's going to have a court date May 20th, and she could really use the money as quickly as possible. Yet, Cultisac, that's something that this is somewhat bothersome to this is very bothersome to me, right? That the idea that he has kind of this posh lifestyle in regards to being in the prison. I do think that prison should be for reform. One of the things that I'm going to say, and this is probably going to draw a little bit of heat, we oftentimes give children iPads so that it will entertain and placate them. And if they've got the iPad, they're not causing other problems. And I wonder if that's a little bit behind what's going on with these tablets that prisoners are given, right? Is it a way to keep them, let's say, subdued or distracted from doing other things that, let's say, more violent or other elements of that process? So, okay. Again, apologize, quick notice. I wouldn't say that I'm an awesome speaker in regards to these types of in-studio chats, but I just thought I would take the opportunity to share this update on Danny Masterson. Thanks, everybody. If you get a chance to head over to Nance Drew and help her out, and let's go find some more lives. Thanks. Bye-bye, everybody. Wait, before I go, let me go to SP's TV space. Let's see. Who do we have out there? Let's go help out Mama Catone in San Francisco. If we can head over and do a room raid on Brain Plug, I think. Let's go see how she's doing over at the San Francisco org. And I'll join you over there. Thank you.